Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Have you ever been in a scenario when you're in a sales meeting and they actually do need your product? They do need it, but the meeting's not going that well. For some reason, you're not getting that rapport. For some reason, you're not connecting with them. Or they do a few things that are really odd and they don't buy it. And you think to yourself, I don't understand why I didn't get that deal. I don't get it. Has anyone been there? Yeah. Today, I'm going to share with you how if you have that, if it happens 10 times again now, there'll be a few more times you can now convert it. I'm going to share with you why that is. Because people buy differently. Everyone buys differently. And it's knowing two things. One, understanding yourself better. Two, understanding the person who wants to buy from you better and how they like to be communicated to. So I'm going to share with you a technique that's helped increase sales conversion on this particular thing. So people are generally outgoing or, anyone prepared to guess what the other one is? Introverted, yeah, okay. I like to call it reserved, but it's the same thing. And also, they're either task focused or they're relationship focused. How many calligraphy awards do you think I won? And this helps us really try and understand who we are and who we're meeting and how best we can communicate with them. So if there is a need for what we are selling, we can help them see it and help them make the right decision for them. So the outgoing, task-orientated people, we call dominant or D types personalities. The outgoing and relationship-focused people, we call the influential or the I type personality. The relationship-focused but the reserved people, we call the S type personalities. And the task-orientated and the reserved types of people, we call C. It's called the DISC profiling system. Now, there are some people go, yes, it should be DISC. Call it what you want to do. But most people call it DISC. It's also a lot easier on the tongue and it causes less questions with your children. So what are these types of people? Well, Ds are the outgoing and task-orientated. Very bullet point, very, I want it now. They're not interested in relationships. They're the kind of person that comes in on a Monday morning and says, okay, so how was that task on last week? How did you get on with it? How did you get on with it? Have you done that today? The Wednesday deadline, how's that going on? Now, that person they're talking to has probably had a 30th birthday on Saturday night. Do you think they're going to get a question on that? Not a chance. They are task-orientated. They want to know exactly what deadline you've met, what you're not going to met. That's it. Their brain hasn't even thought about your 30th birthday. It's not in their makeup. It's all about tasks, not relationships. That's your D. Very bullet point, very kind of forceful. Then you get your I types of personality profiles. Your I's are very much different. They're outgoing, but they're very chatty. They'll come in and ask you about your weekend. They'll ask about your children. They'll ask about your family. Probably more than you want them to. They'll be there for an hour talking about everything. They can go in a room and talk and forget why they're there, why they should be there, who they've spoken to, what they've said. They just love talking. They love people. No structure. They just love people. Talking. Your C type personality. They love facts and figures. They're quite reserved. Everything's a facts and figures. So that went up by that went down by that went over by that. The stats on that was in the first quartile. Anyone guess what kind of professions are normally C's? Accountants. Not all of them, but yes, quite a lot. Because if they can't be that type of person, can they do the job? Probably not. So the C's. And then you've got your S's. S's are they like the stable things in life. They don't like change. Yesterday has to be like the day before, and today needs to be like yesterday for them. Otherwise, they get scared. They really, really struggle with change. So that's your 4 basic profiles. Everyone is really, really good at selling to one of them. And over the world, there's 25% of predominantly Ds, 25% of Is, 25% of Cs, 25% of S. So which one do you think most people are really good at selling to?
D.
Could be D. It's based, anyone? Sorry? I, could be I. It depends on your personality. Yeah. Everyone's good at selling to people like them. Because if people think like you can relate to them. So if you're a D, you know how a D is, and when you go and sell to a D, it's going to be a very smooth process. Because you know you're going to go bullet point, etc., etc. If you're an I, you like a chat, they'll go and they'll want a chat, you've got a chat, they'll like a chat, they're going to love you. See, you're telling all the facts and figures there is, and you just have an amazing conversation on facts, figures, graphs, all sorts of things, and you'll have a great time. The challenge happens when you're selling to the other 75% of the population. Now, who here wants to sell to more people? Yeah. I'm going to show you how you can relate to these people. So let's look at this scenario. So imagine the I is going to a meeting with a D personality profile. What do you think the challenge might be?
Make yourself more bullet orientated, focused.
Yeah, excellent. So imagine you're a high I. You've got this appointment tomorrow. You're going to meet another person. You're excited. You love meeting another person. You want to know about them. You know about their wife, their children, etc. So you're going to get really, really excited. So you're going to go along. You go into there. You're going to go into the meeting full of joy, really, really smiling, beaming, enthusiastic. And you get there, and this person turns up and says, I know Mary booked the appointment. I don't really know why you're here. You've got 5 minutes. If you're an I, what's going on internally? What's going on? How are you feeling at that moment? And you've not done this training. How do you feel? Confused? I don't like this man. I don't like this man. Why am I? What do you mean why am I here? 5 minutes. But if you've done the sales training, what's the best thing you can say to a D if they say, you've got 5 minutes? What's the best thing you can say? Could be good. That's a good thing you can do. Perfect. I'll do it in 3. These people like to be challenged. They'll challenge you. They'll shake. They want to know that they're more powerful than you. And if you rise up to them, you impress them. I'll do it in 3. Perfect answer. I'll do it in 3. Now imagine the reverse. You're a D, and you're going to go to meet an I. So you're going to go in there, and you're thinking, right, this should take 30 seconds, this meeting. It's really simple. Here's a copier. This is what it does. You either want it or you don't. Now, if you went in with that approach to an I, what will happen?
No reaction.
Yeah, no reaction. No sale. Yeah, you put him off. The I's going to hate you. So you've got to go in there, and you're a D, and you've got to go in there thinking, right, I know every fibre of my body is going to be shaking at this moment, but I need to do it because I want to buy from them. I think they need what I do. So you go, how was your weekend? You don't want to say it. And then they say, thank you for asking. I had a 30th birthday in the afternoon. Then I went swimming. And then I went and then I cut the garden. And at this point, the D is absolutely shaking. They don't want to hear all this information. And then what's the worst thing the I can do after that?
How was yours?
How was yours? How was yours? Perfect. And the D, literally is sweating, even more than we are now. Sweating. He goes, and in the deep down, he's thinking to himself, what's this got to do with the sale? But he has to say, thank you for asking. I played a round of golf. And maybe give a bit more detail. My handicap's 17, and I got 15, so I had a really, really good game. And then it goes, then he talks about the family. And then they say to him, well, how's your family? And what's the D thinking at this moment? Yeah. What's it got to do with you? Who my family are. But they've got to continue the conversation. Well, actually, I've got 3 lovely children. He has to then say in a very, very false way. So that's the D selling the I, and the I selling to D. Now, the C personality profile. They're obsessed with facts and figures. If you go and sell to a C, they will have researched everything about you and your product that they can possibly find. So if you go on there and you say, this particular website that we did for our competitors, the visitors were up 78% last year. If it was 77%, What do you think is going to happen in the C's brain? What do you think is going to happen?
Spot the inaccuracy.
Yeah, they'll spot it. And what do you think they'll think of you? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know your product. 1% out. They know it. They're not happy. So that's what the. So with a C, what do you think you need to do if you're going to prepare to sell to a C? You need to prepare. You need to prepare. S hates change. So how might your sales strategy be slightly different if you're going to sell to an S? They hate change, everything's gradual. What do you think might be different?
Control C, control V, giving the same thing.
Yeah? Kind of, yeah, if they've bought with you before.
Just basically keep it fairly constant and don't change.
Yeah. You might need a couple of meetings. Decision on the day with an S is a bit scary. It's a bit scary. Need a couple of meetings, need to think about it, speak to 300 people, and then still not sure, but then might kind of get there. But the good thing with an S is they are loyal and they're stable. If you've sold to them, selling them to again is easier. Why do you think that is?
Because they trust you.
Sorry?
They trust you, they know what
Good point. Any other points on why an S would want to buy from you again once they've gone through the 85 steps and the 28 years of actually buying into you in the first place? Why is it selling to them again is easy?
Change resistance.
Perfect. They don't want to go through the process with someone else. So your upselling and future processes with an S should be a lot easier. So how do we spot? When we're in a meeting, how do we know we're in a meeting with a D? How do we know we're in a meeting with an I? Or an S or a C? The first thing is the greeting. You walk in there and they go, how are you? Fine. If they say fine and they're looking at you, waiting for something else, which one are they not?
INS.
Yeah, I, and yeah, and an S to a cent. Going to be right down this side. They're task orientated. They don't really want to chat. It's almost like task. Actually, you've asked me. I'm fine. Now, so you talk to an I and you say, how are you? I'm fine. But if you asked me yesterday, I was feeling a bit achy, but that Miranda came round and gave me a massage and now I'm okay. But thanks for asking. How was your weekend? You get a lot more conversation. So the greeting is one of the key ways of spotting these people. And then you can adjust, right, okay, these people like to be communicated in a certain way to make them feel comfortable. So you can then adjust. Now, it's possible to be 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, or 100, 0, 0, 0. It's unlikely, but there's normally a dominant 1 or 2 that people are. And sometimes things come out of different situations. So it's all about, you've got the greeting, you spot the greeting. The next thing to look at is their office. Their office. So you go into the office of a D. What do you think might be on the wall? Any guesses?
Calendar.
Potentially. Okay. Probably more to do a C. On the wall is Andy Murray shaking their hand. The year he won Wimbledon, not this year. That Andy Murray knows me. I'm important. If they've got an award, it is definitely on the wall. No family pictures, just the award. If they have caught a fish, the fish is on the wall. That fish was swimming the seas of Scotland last week. It swims no more. One attempt with a hook. Me. Got that fish. I'm important. I got that fish. Andy Murray knows me. So another trick about knowing D. What do you think's on the D's desk? They're task orientated.
List of actions.
Could be that.
Not much.
Excellent. The thing they're working on now. The thing they're working on now. Let's go to the I's office. We go on the wall and we see they've got a daughter called Jane. We see a picture of Jane, age 6 months. We see a picture of Jane, age 2 years. Jane is now 36. You get the point. They love pictures, they love people. Their pets would be on the wall. Puppies, the mums, the dads who have not seen since then, the litters playing with, pictures and pictures. The higher the I, the more the pictures. The S will have pictures, more than a D, but a lot less, 1 or 2. In the D's office, will there be a picture?
No, unless they're in it.
Sorry?
Unless they're in it.
Good point. There's one. Sorry? Be an award, yes, good point. They're task orientated. There'll be a picture of their wife or husband in the drawer, just in case they appear. They can quickly put it on there. Darling, I gaze at you every day. And guess what will happen the minute the spouse leaves? It goes in the drawer because they're not very good at people seeing their emotional side. So that's the D. So that's the greeting and also what their office is like. The other thing, if you're in a D's office, and you'll notice there's a manual on the shelf. What state is that manual in?
Perfect.
Excellent. Why is that?
Because they'll only refer to it when they need a specific task.
Yeah.
To be able to refer to that document.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's D's that do that. There's D's that actually won't have read it. I don't need the manual. It's obvious how you work this program. So it will stay there in pristine condition, looking good. It's there because it's looking good. It looks really good. So you go to the C's office. How does their manual look?
Used.
Excellent. Used. They have read it many, many times. Many times. And if they're really, really high C, what do you think they'll do if they spot a spelling mistake? What do you think they'll do?
Inform the publisher.
Perfect. They will ring them up. Dear IKEA, thought I'd let you know that figure 1 should have been figure 1.2. And that piece of wood was actually 1.2 millimetres, not 1.1. I thought I'd let you know because probably the translation from Swedish wasn't that good. They'll let them know. If you're dealing with a high C, and they go to your website, and there's a spelling mistake on that, what's going to happen next? Sorry? They'll tell you. Or they might not use you, yeah. Yeah, not professional. 1 or 2 things. Excellent.
Well, won't be the same thing because they're more outgoing than C's. C's tend to be more reserved.
Yeah.
So if they're more reserved, then they're less likely to complain about to IKEA that things.
No, sure. But they might.
These.
That's a good point. They might do it by email. They won't ring you.
They won't ring you.
They probably wouldn't tell you in a networking event, but they might email you with lots of technical explanations and links to all sorts of things. So it's a very good question, though. Really good. So there's 3 things. There's the greeting, and then there's their office. Let's look at closing the sale. Now, if a D wants it, what's the D going to say?
I'll have it.
Yeah, perfect. You give them the contract. What do they like to do when you give them the contract? They'll probably, sorry? Yeah, they'll probably read about 3 lines and sign it. But it's done, it's done. I've bought it, I'm off. When is it arriving? I'm gone. If an I wants it, let's look at another scenario actually, which would be quite interesting. If the I doesn't want it, what do they say? It's quite possible, but there's another. An I can also do something else if they don't want it. Anyone guess what an I might do if they don't want it?
So they need to refer to somebody else.
Yeah, they can do that. There's something else that an I could potentially do as well, but these are all possible. Okay, very, very good answer. They say yes. They don't buy it. They say yes. Yes, I'll do it. Ring me tomorrow and we'll discuss the terms. So imagine a scenario. You're ringing tomorrow. The phone rings. Bing, bing, bing. And they're speaking to Jane. Hello, can I speak to Jane, please? Oh, and Jane's going to... I'm sorry, Jane's out at the moment. Can I take a message? Thank you. And they go, thank you. And if you ring back in 3 days' time, what's going to happen? Sorry? She's still out. So, okay, so you try the next tactic. You ring from a different phone number. Okay, you ring from a different phone number, and you actually get hold of Jane. Hi Jane, it's Jamie. Oh, I was just thinking of you. I really want it. I'm for you. John, though, is the guy that signs the cheques. I just can't convince him. Still doesn't want to say no, as you did right. Doesn't want to accept your feelings. But won't tell you, in some extreme case of an eye. So there comes a point you think to yourself, you know what, they don't really want it. But let's look on the other thing. How do you close an eye? What's the kind of thing you can say to an eye that will make them want to buy it and get them to jump all over these hurdles? Eyes love people. They love being with people, following people, being part of that crowd. Just as a clue.
I would say no pressure whenever you want to come.
Okay, they'd like that.
Tell them that their friends have it.
Jane, perfect. Jane, the next shipment's arriving next year. We have one left. Your friends Philip, your friends Joan have all got one. Do you want to be the last? Look, I love you, man. I hate to see all of them have it and you don't. Do you want to be the last? They want to be part of the herd. They don't want to be left out. Now, would that work on a D? Why is that?
Because they're not interested in the relationship, they're more task-oriented.
Yeah. The D, what do you say to a D? This will revolutionise your business. You will be the first. Are you an innovator, Gatesh? You're someone, you strike me as someone that is always first there. You're going to be the best in your area. This is it. This will revolutionise your business. A D will love that. This will be the cutting edge solution, the cutting edge technology for you. Now imagine using that exact same type of communication to an S. Prashant, this is going to revolutionise your business. What internally has the S profile done there and then?
Revolutionise? I don't want to revolutionise.
Perfect.
I want to stay stable.
They have gone into meltdown. I don't want my business revolutionised. Gradual changes. Prashant, this will change your business over time, very slowly. There'll be about 10 changes. We'll do the first one in 3 weeks' time, after you've had a chance to consult to your directors, and then there'll be one in 3 months' time, and it'll just be maybe a slight change with 1 or 2 people. That is how the S likes to be communicated to. Can you see how different that is to the D? Can you imagine if you said that to a D? Come on, no, I want it tomorrow. I don't want to wait 6 months for this. And can you see that if you're not aware of this, you're going to just talk how you think and you are, and you're going to get some strange results. And you're going to get potentially some results where you're not going to understand what I didn't buy. You're not going to understand why that meeting was awkward. And you're probably going to blame something else. It takes a lot of practice. Let's look at another scenario. I mean, this can be useful on team building. Which one of these would hate to be in an office on their own? Perfect. Phil, bring up your high eyes and get them here. This is perfect for them. Perfect for them. If you put them in an office on their own, what are they going to do?
Pull the hair out.
Pull the hair out. They'll walk out of the office and start and have a conversation. Now imagine they have a conversation with a C. What's going to go there? Does anyone do any work around here? They keep coming out of their office. Now if you keep sending the eye back into the office, what are you going to do to them? What's going to happen? Sorry? They'll have a breakdown, they're not going to like it, they're going to complain, they're going to get issues, they'll be off sick, they'll leave. Well, you did well for the other company, why are you not doing well with us? There's loads of companies that do this, they don't know, they don't see, they don't get it. If you put a C at home and give him a load of work, what's going to happen?
Get it done.
He'll get it done, he'll love it, he'll love it. And how much slower will he be if you put him in an open plan office? A lot slower? Quicker? A lot slower. So it relates to team building as well as selling. It's about people and understanding them. So we've gone through closing the sale, we've gone through the greeting, and we've gone through their office. Has anyone got any questions on this particular topic? Nick?
Just a point with it's not hard if anyone knows me. I'm clearly a healthy chunk of eye and probably somewhere over there. But I find eyes weirdly quite frustrating to. Mine's hard to sell. You don't really sell copyright. I find them quite hard to sell to. Quite frustrating. It's not the same for me.
Okay.
And what's the other thing about eyes as well? I found, because of what you were saying about always saying yes to please type of thing and then not going to it, I'm actually quite brutal now.
Right.
Because from the past, 3 people would be selling me something, for example, and I'd sort of say yes to all of them, and I'd have to deal with 3 calls back for something I wasn't interested in.
Right.
So I'm pretty brutal now, straight off.
Okay. So you can relate to the scenario I talked about with
I've had to learn working backwards, not interested.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that. That's really good. So the selling to eye, is there anything that you do differently now?
Before I meet them, I've usually, first of all, sort of pre-qualified the meeting in some way, but I've normally sent them 3 or 4 questions to find out, if we chat all around the houses, exactly what they're looking for, and go,
Right.
come back to them as quick as possible.
And how's that worked?
Yeah, all right.
What's one thing you can do in that scenario that can maybe help?
I often put a time limit on things. So
Yeah,
I'd say, I've got to
potentially.
be now, and then I've got to be place X.
Yeah. Have you tried showing them other people that have used your service
Yep.
that maybe are like them?
Kind of. I've got a real mixed bag of clients. So.
Right. But in some way, it might be that the same ethnic group or the same industry or the same... So they feel that they are part of that herd?
Yeah, I try not to do that too much, because I like to sell on the basis of you like the work, you don't like the work.
Yeah, but based on what you learnt today, do you think potentially trying to communicate them in the way that they like to buy, that might be something that might get... And if you're getting 6 out of 10, that might be 7. That might be your 7th. Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, Nick. It's a really good case study. Anyone else got a question on this? Yeah. Gitesh.
You've given examples of you meeting them in their environment. What if they meet you in your environment?
Okay, good question. The greeting. The greeting. A lot of it. How chatty they are. When they're asking you questions, are they quoting stats? So you've got 2 things here. They're outgoing or reserved. So if you're doing most of the talking, they're going to be like this. So it narrows it down. It's not those 2. If they're talking about stats a lot, it's them. Are they? If they ask you, they like steady, stable. So they want guarantees. They want to know that everyone's going to be happy. There's no going to be no boat's going to be rocked. So it's the way they talk to you.
Which is fine, because it obviously will take you maybe 5-10 minutes to actually work out which group they're in.
Yes.
And then you would need to change your approach.
Yes.
It could be quite drastically,
Yeah.
depending on what you
Sure.
way you were approaching them initially and what you found out them to be.
Yeah.
Would they actually see the difference in your approach suddenly?
Maybe they might suddenly feel comfortable.
Would that put people off? That you were heading one way and then suddenly you've gone completely the opposite way?
Very good question. Potentially, yes. I mean, try and water it down. I suppose the biggest extreme is you're not chatty, then you are. They might say, "Well, glad you warm up to me now." They'll suddenly, or the D, when you're talking and talking and talking, and they're sitting there looking like they're about to make an excuse to leave, and you suddenly say, "Okay, right, it's going to increase your profits by 50%. We can install it on Monday. Do you want green or blue?" They'll go, "Green. Here's a contract. No problem." Why did it take so long to get to that point? So you might get that type of conversation, because it'll go from discomfort to comfort. Any other questions on that? Jason?
This is all well and good, and obviously I see the purpose of this for when you're in a physical meeting.
Yes.
Right, for law firms, for myself, it's
Yeah.
about potentially getting in the door, because once
Okay.
you've got in the door,
Yeah.
right, you can then actually do a hell of a lot more with that person
Sure.
than actually doing something over the phone.
Yeah.
And most of the hurdles that we tend to get
Yeah.
tend to be oh, we already got a supplier, or whatever it may
Yeah,
be
yeah,
that you're dealing up against. And actually, we may well be offering a different service. We may well be offering something which is completely unique in the marketplace,
yeah,
and have a unique spin on it.
yeah.
But it's about getting in the first place
Sure.
to actually be able to showcase it, and that's the difficulty. So it's
No,
not
sure.
necessarily- And at that point, you don't know whether they're a DICS or whatever
Yeah,
it may
yeah.
be in terms
That's
of,
true.
in terms of that
No,
process.
you're totally right. I totally agree. Once you're on the phone and you actually got through to them and the conversation starts, if they're to the point, if they're very chatty, if you need to bring them out and then they're talking stats, if you need to bring them out and they're talking about guarantees and the fact that it's not going to go that fast, that's how you can tell. But yes, if you've not got through to them yet, it's you're not going to do that. That's because that's more to do with lead generation than sales. There's something else I'm going to look at which can help you improve that side of things. That's the next thing I'm going to look at. But yeah, this is when you are physically talking to them. You might have some clues. For instance, if you find that someone's on Facebook and they do lots of chat, they're going to probably be, what do you think they're going to be more like? If they're very, very active on Facebook, talking about, here's a picture of Johnny in the bath and whatever, and this is my son playing football and whatever. What do you think they're going to be more like?
You don't know that. Again, you don't know that.
Yeah.
At this point now, again, you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily have access to LinkedIn. You can't have access to
Sure.
Facebook at this stage.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of that,
So
in
yeah,
terms of that-
you're right. It
that
can't help
process.
you. This is when you're in front of them, and this is when I'm talking about lead conversion. It's literally number of meetings, number of sales. So 10 meetings, 6 sales. How do we make it 8? Converting leads. So yeah, you are in front of them. This is what this is about: converting leads. Any other questions on this particular topic, Nick?
There's something else I've spotted, because obviously I deal with writing day in, day out, and I will slap the difference between a D and an I. If you haven't even got on the phone and you haven't even met them, an I, either in their web copy or even on their LinkedIn, will slap exclamation marks all over the place.
That'd be interesting.
Right? If they've done something exciting, they'll stick an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence without realising, which I've written about, it can make you sound like an over-enthusiastic kid. A D will have the same exciting statements but shortens the sentences and a little full stop at the end. They'll just talk in bursts but about relevant stuff. So you can even
Bullet
spot
point.
it sometimes, in their writing. They might be just as exciting as what the I's written, but they don't slap exclamation marks.
Good point. And just to add to that, D struggle to get more than 2 sentences together.
Yep.
And I will use 500 words when one will do. And they also won't let the truth get in the way of a good story sometimes. Because they want to be, on stage and be a bit flowery. So they'll stretch the truth to the extent. Anyone else got any other questions on this particular topic? Thank you very much.